So here we are.
Here we are.
Here we
We
are.
did it.
And it's so nice to have a willing participant
Mhm.
to
Yeah,
join
first
in.
person in person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
First in person, and then also our first.
On the couch. And our first,
Yes.
interaction recorded. First time on this.
I love your sense of humor. It's so good. And while we're laughing, we might as well explain just a little bit. We were heading for the pool,
Yeah.
and we improved as
Yep.
hence the swimsuits.
Here we are.
And we decided we needed to do a recording.
Mm.
And so how were we going to do that? And we didn't go too much into what we were going to do.
Nope.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Rhianna, and I'm here for just a short time because I'm a bit of a nomad, and it was lovely. I just like happened upon Lori. We were playing pickleball, and because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm traveling, I'm road tripping, and I'm doing pickleball tournaments along the way. So it's lovely to get to kind of come together with somebody who we have we're on a similar wavelength, we're on a similar thread, and to find that in like something as silly as pickleball.
And energetically,
Mm,
I thought it was interesting because you joined in and was playing some of the matches, and we rotate as
mhm,
we
mhm.
change off the court. We don't stay with the same team. And what occurred was I said something like, "I need your number," or something.
Yeah.
Let's exchange numbers.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, by that afternoon, I was having to text her
Yeah.
because my partner for pickleball had some things that he could not make it to our matches
Yeah.
that was scheduled that afternoon. And literally 2 hours later, she and I were playing
Yeah.
in my league.
Yeah.
And we won thanks to Rhianna. Yeah, my shoulder has had been failing me a bit.
Yeah. Well, which is an interesting thing because we both have some bodily things going on.
Similarities, right?
Yeah, this right shoulder
Yeah,
situation
and we just found that out
today.
today
Yeah.
when you came over, and I said, "Oh, yesterday I was not only at for 90 minutes with one energy person and body worker, but then I followed it up with the chiropractor, and lo and behold, it is still glitching. I
Wow.
call it glitching.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how the liver is connected to it and the clearing of that, and sure, time.
Yeah.
And then how you were just like, oh
Yeah,
my
I just went
God,
to do acupuncture yesterday for the first time ever because my left foot, my plantar fasciitis has been acting up. And then we find out like the hamstring and the calf and all of it's connected. And I still have this right, arm stuff going on too, but it's so interesting. We both have left leg.
leg. And that's another thing we found out today.
Right
It was
on.
like, oh yeah, the first person couldn't do anything with the massager energetically until she got into my left leg.
Wow.
I love Kayut yoga.
Mm.
And it's a yoga that's not, I don't know why they called it yoga, but it's a practice of the body and placement where you relax into it and you hold these poses more similar to like a chiropractor or osteopath would look at the body.
Okay.
And so your joints and your body actually relax into their form, their natural state,
Wow.
remembering without tension.
Yes. So I love that. I actually studied yoga at Naropa University. That's where I got my bachelor's degree. And I have been more drawn to that style of yoga, that like sitting in, restorative, and really sinking in. Because I think about chiropractor, work, and I'm hesitant because it feels like, you always have to go, and we're not going to teach you how to align yourself.
Yeah, it really is something. And there's 200 poses in it. Wow. And there's, you get in a class and you can go through those, or the instructor may say, okay, I feel the group needs this, or,
Wow.
but yeah, it's been, I have many many injuries, and even just in the last 2 years, broken foot or whatever. And it always is a therapy for me. And it's something, if you have someone online as an instructor as well, who can manage.
That's great. Well, and actually thinking about what our body holds, I'm curious about, in your line of work, how do you release what's not yours? Like, what is your practice in that way? How would you, I don't know, suggest to others?
I reflect. Okay. So I was feeling into it and asking the body, and in some ways I was feeling, well, is this an entity? Does this feel like an attack? Is this past life? Because I'll go on all these multiple dimensions of consciousness, and it could be a little of everything. And or what is it in my physicality, in my system of the organs, or just the energetic flow, and what's not aligned, or because I also go to Rolfing as well, and acupuncture.
And what's it communicating? It is communicating something.
Exactly. So for me, just in particular, this particular pain, it has felt that some of it has been an attack, like a stab in the back energy. And it was just kind of building in a way. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, you have to deal with this.
Oh, okay, fine.
There's people talking about you now behind your back right now. And then, different things can come in. I do like going to someone else to receive. And I think opening that up allows me to open on that internal level.
Because you're able to be held to release that all, and then you're a better gifter.
Exactly. I'm glad you didn't say grifter.
No, I'm the grifter.
But seriously, you're not. That can take on a whole other connotation.
Oh, for sure.
So anyway, going in on that internal exploration, and then asking to receive, because so much of the healers, if we don't have that mutual exchange, because if we're giving out and not receiving in the same level, I mean, sure, the money is an energetic reception, but on those levels, it's also a practice for us, to go there.
Definitely. I have found that receiving has been my sharpest learning curve, I guess. Or like there's an uphill battle in that way, because I didn't grow up knowing how to innately receive and not being given the opportunity to receive. It's been challenging. And when I say receive, it actually isn't like for me. It feels like, well, love is flowing out of me, love is flowing into me, and I need to like remove those blockages so that love can flow through me. So receive, receive, so it can purify and move up and out of me. Because I'm doing really good with the blockages out. I can love everything and everyone, which is a challenge sometimes in our society, where people are lacking love for things that are challenging to them. But I'll keep sending love. But then receiving love. Oh, because right now it feels like, okay, I'll receive that kind of love. But then I need to have the broader spectrum of what love is to be received.
And so many people get caught up on the romantic love, the word of love. I just had someone who texted me something. Is it okay that I'm feeling this? When the song comes on, I think of you, because you give me so much, or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's love. That's the real, that's the pure essence of
divine love.
And where it's elevating, right? It's elevating the person.
Purifying,
and sometimes
healing.
People, because I say things directly or see things, and sometimes it may turn them off because they're not ready to receive that truth or that knowingness. and it may never open, or it may, you know what I mean? It's just,
yeah. I've been talking to people about intimacy versus passion versus romantic.
Yeah.
And, can you be romantic with friends? What is romance? Is there intention behind it? But all of them are expressions of love, I feel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to mean like, oh, only my romantic partner has, receives intimacy.
Yeah, right. And everyone else,
yeah,
it's a wait and see. Maybe a pass for a few hours.
Oh goodness. You can say one intimate thing to me and that's enough. Okay.
Yeah. I just crack up how well I can see how we just were like, oh my God, this is fun.
Makes sense.
So, and what we did was, after we finished that pickleball match, we were supposed to have another one. And then I said, no, we have to go get my organic. We have to go you want to go to the organic farm with me and pick up my vegetables and then come home and then we'll go over to the match. But, then it started raining.
Yeah.
And pouring. It was like, oh, the heavens opened up and allowed time for us to hang out.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I don't know, I think I may have asked, so what's your sign or whatever? And it was like crazy because we had the same rising and the same moon. And then and I was very glad to hear she was a Taurus because I just love Taurus. And
Pisces love Taurus.
Yes, yeah, we love people who ground us. But there were so many connecting pieces that it was very joyous.
Yes.
It was like soul sister energy, right?
Silly, playful, and also deep, but like not deep with heaviness. It was like light deepness, which is beautiful.
That was very beautiful how you just described that.
Well, what's good because we have our, Gemini, the air aspect, and then you have your water aspect. So it's nice to be able to shift out of that very earthy vibe sometimes.
Yeah, I love lightening things up like that, and for me, and I understand when you were talking about the love that just is going to others and just automatically open heart, and then that innocence in that purity that comes forth, how people question that as well. And
because people it's been tainted for them.
Yeah.
And we can see that it's like, oh, things have happened in your life and you can't give this or receive it. And that's sad. That's
it is sad. Oh wait, I'm getting emotional right now. Seriously. It's sad when I think of that. Oof.
Yeah.
Wow. I've met those people, and when I say those, it's not
it's us.
Yeah. It's
an aspect of us.
Yeah.
Which is hard. It's hard because I want to love on it and
I love that you said that. Yeah. When I saw the word those, I saw it with a capital T. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I really enjoyed because pronouns are a big conversation these days.
Right.
And I think for me, I'll just share, I'm comfortable with whatever pronoun someone uses for me as long as it's done in a loving, kind way. And I say that to youth so that they can feel like they don't need to choose a label. It's whatever, those labels are for other people more than me. But then somebody recently, a couple of years ago, mentioned the pronoun we and using we as a pronoun. And I was like, I love that. Oh, we're going to go to the park. Oh, we're going to meditate. And it's like, we are we are a collective. We are interconnected. It's just a nice reminder.
That just even the way that you say it and use it has a whole other vibration. That is the open heart, right? Wow. Okay, what else are we going to talk about here?
Okay, so question.
Oh, you have a question.
So I'm curious about your relationship with other approach, like different spiritual practices and approaches. I was curious if you've heard about human design and how you feel about human design. Maybe not how you feel about it, and maybe that's too touchy, but I'm curious. What's been your experience with it?
I have to take this back from eons ago when people would ask me, I mean, 30 years ago when they were asking me, what do you think about Western medicine?
Right.
Right. And I said, look, we have all these modalities that we've created and we get to choose from. And the same with anything that's metaphysical, or mystical. It's like it's there for us to, let's, try this.
Yeah.
And go, oh, that was interesting. I learned a lot of how I don't believe in that.
Yep. How do I have a relationship with spirit?
Yes.
Is that how I want to communicate with spirit? Does spirit communicate with me that
way?
Right.
Yeah. You just kept that so clean. Because sometimes it's like, I think people were coming, let's take, for example, the Western medicine thing. And I'm like, sometimes that can save your life.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can kill you.
Wow. That's it.
Right?
That's it. So, and my intention, I think, whenever I'm using a different modality is harm reduction. That's my intention.
Right.
I can't believe that. I can't trust that everyone using other modalities are using it in that way. Recently, I actually had a conversation with spirit and I asked about some friends and I said, will this person, will their purpose bring them fame? And like, that's a very specific question, right? Especially with like what I believe fame to be and all that. Right. And so I passed it along to my friend and they had resistance. It hurt them a little bit because they want to make a big impact and they want to be well known. But I did also ask spirit, I said, will their purpose reach many people? And it was a yes, strong yes. And so, and then later after I had asked questions and all that, I thought about it and I was like, well, I do think that spirit was in that moment was giving us things to ponder.
Oh, indeed.
I think
indeed.
I was thinking about my, future partnership. Okay, would they look like this? Or when I say look like would they have certain behavior characteristics? Would they like this type of relationship style? And it was like giving me answers I wasn't necessarily expecting to hear.
Yeah, you're kind of like, what?
I was like, what? I was like, what? So then I had to sit with myself. Well, what is my resistance? For example, I was like, is my future partner polyamorous? And so, and I was hoping it was going to be yes. And it was like, no. And so I had to sit with, well, what is my resistance around monogamy? What's my why do I so strongly want polyamory in my relationship? Well, it comes down to, I want to ensure autonomy. That's what I want to ensure. And so it's not about polyamory or monogamy. It's, I want to ensure that I'm in a healthy relationship that supports me to be autonomous. And so it's not about the label. So same thing with the fame. Well, how do you, what are you wanting? What are you not wanting? What's your resistance? what are you leaning into?
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so good. Like getting that specific down to, I mean, that is so soulful and directive. I mean, it was like, aha. And then the fame also, I mean, that whole context of the words that have been used through our lives that also have such charge to them. And if you don't reach that, then you're not anyone. You don't have the worth, right? You don't have
the worth. That's not the success.
Right. You're nobody. You didn't attain that.
Right.
Instead of serving your high purpose in this realm that whoever's going to energetically resonate and be brought into it and gain from it. Right.
Yeah.
And it's not to say you can't try for it. It's just don't stop if that's
right.
Don't stop.
Don't stop doing.
Yeah. Don't stop
making money from it or whatever.
Yeah, right. It's still
that's still impactful.
And soulful again. It's especially in that line of being a calling.
Yes. Well, and that's at the purpose aspect. My friend was like, well, what is my purpose? It's like, is what I want to be famous for my purpose? Right. Or can I, have fame with my not purpose? And then I do my purpose over here. That impacts a lot of people. And so there's a lot of navigating that. And it's interesting for me, like knowing my purpose, to be a vessel of love and for love. And maybe I don't get paid for that.
And that is valid. And valid is value.
It's just my way of being. I just have to be. And that's what success is, right? To just be what I'm meant to be. And then on top of that, again, when I was talking to Spirit, asking about my future partner, is their purpose love too? And no. It's like, what? So then I asked, like, is their purpose like another frequency? No. And then I was like, okay. So then I sat with it for a second, and I was like, and then I started crying because I've been a caregiver my whole life, and it was like, is their purpose to be able to hold me while I am love? And it was like, And I was like, because that's what I'm preparing for. I'm preparing to be ready for a partner who can do that for me.
And that readiness, at what point are you ready? Right?
Maybe once there's like resistance out of my body. I don't know.
I think everyone wants to know this, right? It's like, okay,
when am I ready? Right.
It's the awareness. It's like when you're coming more and more into awareness of you, allows just automatically draws that in, that which is you. It's just drawing it in.
And that means letting go of things that are not, right? Not attaching myself to those things and hoping that they'll be what I'm looking for. No, they're not.
It's going to be.
It's going to be. It's going to be what it'll be.
It's going to be.
And that's it. I think that Spirit will really let me know. When that person comes into my life too, it's going to be like, hey, sink into this. Hopefully, what I'm working on is not running away.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Just to be settled, feel well. As a Taurus, you can feel grounded, right? But where's your flight come into? Is it the emotional?
It comes into play because I've been a caregiver over and over and over again, and like I'm drawn to those relationship dynamics more so, and even like attachment theory. It's like, okay, like that void, and I'm like, I can help you, and then I become anxious myself, and then whirlwind. So it's not necessarily running away; it's just like turning away from people who might actually be good for me, but they don't bring the chaos, and so I'm not attracted to it.
Right.
So I'm working on actually like being attracted to peace. That's been a practice.
Oh my gosh, I love this. That is huge. So that's the ready. That's the ready. It's not about the doing.
No, there's not doing.
It's the peace.
Love and peace, man. Love.
Hey, I'm all over that. I that's the basis of it, right? Of the energies that we have to let them in and find and make time and discovery and awareness around it. Like have a discussion with love and peace. And you had right. Personify them as these beings, right? This energy, and how to bring that in. So even though I started at the Western stuff and we took this trail, I will mention some of the modalities so any modality, I mean, the thing about, I always love how things evolve, like even how astrology has evolved. It's like they had this one chart and someone else came in and said, hey, let's add the signs around here and into those houses. And then that brought another level of it. And it seems like it was a progressive aware, so, people bring in information to lift the consciousness, right? Or to teach the consciousness, or to bring awareness in on these different levels. And then the human design, I feel, it's another timing for an understanding of another technology, in a way, of how the mechanics of the human body connected, and the soul are connected to the universe.
And how we connect with each other, and what are the relationship dynamics that actually support that growth.
Right. And then, of course, our free will.
Yes, that that little thing.
That little teeny tiny, wondrous, powerful thing. Yeah. Wow.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you find that do you choose free will? Do you choose a path of free will, or do you tune in and ask spirit if it's in alignment with your purpose? And
I love that you asked this question, because I write about this in my book. Actually, a lot of this.
Yay!
So the thing is that I feel that say that one more time, because I just went out.
Do you feel that you follow free will, like you intention, free will intention, or do you kind of tune into spirit and say, is this in alignment with me?
I think they're one and the same.
Yeah, tell me more.
Well,
tell us more.
Because it's like this. There's no I mentioned how we have our free will, and that the divine gave breath to it. And so we're never separate. Spirit is one and the same. And so when we're just asking our highest connection, and then that alignment drops in, depending on where we are physically in space, in the dynamics of the land, in the dynamic, there's so many involvements in it, but there's definitely that whole the divine alignment that it creates divine timing. Was that just a bunch of bubble?
Read more about it in her book, her upcoming book. Links below. One day.
No later than next spring.
There we go.
Maybe Christmas.
Next spring. Cute.
Yes.
Great Christmas present.
Yeah, right. Or a birthday present, or anniversary gift, or table book. Stocking stuffer. Yeah, whatever.
Are you gonna do an audiobook?
I am.
How did I know? Good.
Because this voice has to say it.
This voice.
Yeah, this voice. It has to be me. Doing it. Yeah. So anyway, the whole alignment, or the when you're speaking, it's your high self that you're connected to, which is your divine connection to source. And so that whole free will, yes, you're asking, but you're asking into your highest part, and then you're getting the answer connected into the action of the free will. Because the will is the action part. Right? It's the force behind making things occur, like bringing things into creation.
Right.
So, I mean, that's my
and our systems. If we choose something that isn't actually in alignment, or isn't for our highest purpose, it will let us know.
Oh yeah.
But we are so
even though it may be 25 years later.
Yes. Oh, you got a pain in your hip? What? And that's why I asked, talking to that pain, talking to those sensations. It's so important.
Well, similar to you, I'm very much a caretaker, and it has been since childhood. And part of that came along because of the sensitivity of not being able to always distinguish mine and theirs.
Exactly.
And so I mean, talk about being conscious, being part of consciousness. You know, that whole making decisions based on an adult's decision that wasn't even projected to me. It was his behavior towards someone else, or and then later in life, I that was running in me, and so I made a decision,
Yeah. When it comes to empathy, I've been learning a bit more around okay, I take this on. And in the past it's been, well, actually still sometimes now, I'll take on somebody else's feelings, and if it's painful, then I'm in pain too. So we're both in pain, and gosh, I want to fix it for the both of us because I don't want to be in pain anymore. But that might detract from their process.
Absolutely. And their education of why they came in here, their schooling. And so, I totally agree with I'm really discovering boundaries, like what they really mean. Probably, I don't know, the last 12 years, 15 years or so. And it's just been increasing, of the honoring of allowing people to stand over me and, tell me I don't know anything, and that I'm wrong in my beliefs, or something like that. And
wow.
That's not working.
No. Yeah. And I've burnt out a lot in my lifetime because I've chosen to be in the human service field because I'm really good at it, right? I'm really passionate about it. I'm really passionate about the human experience. And recently I've been exploring compassion as an antidote to burnout.
Yeah. And when you're practicing compassion, you're in it for yourself too. It has to be compassion for self and others, but you have to start here and not be on the go path of performance.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
And when someone says, hey, someone's calling you up for something, right? And it's like, I'm not going to engage in that right now. And it's not to say that you're not going to engage ever.
Right.
It's just the timing and the choices are more conscious.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I am finding that I have more solitude in my life.
Yeah.
I am more careful about my energy expenditure and the energy that I'm around. And so I'm navigating, like, having peace around that too. Because being a caretaker growing up, there's a shame element. It feels like selfish.
Yes. That was even some of the languaging that was used growing up. Yes. Like certain people didn't have children in the neighborhood, and my dad would say, oh, they're just selfish. And I knew deep inside of me that was bullshit. Yeah. Like, put the flag up. Like, that is just wrong. Yeah. And
so then he's selfless for having children.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right. And, well, there's a whole other story in that too, which I think, where did he get that program? Yeah. Where does this come from? Because it's not who we are authentically in our true self of love and,
where there's no other.
Yeah, right.
There's no other. And, it's interesting. I feel like there are a lot of times when people become parents and it's not always planned, or they don't know what it's going to be, even though they plan it, it's unknown, right? That experience is unknown. And so then there might come up feelings of, gosh, like, what if my life didn't have children? And so I'm selfless, or like to remind yourself, no, like, I'm doing a good job to be able to, yeah. I got to remind myself, I'm doing God's work.
Yeah. Right.
That makes it all right in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. The mind does some amazing things. And part of it is societal.
Yeah.
And survival.
Oh,
because if we didn't have certain framings, would we go on? If we didn't have, these structures that we create in our minds, where would we be? And but really reflecting on that, and then seeing how much of that can be let go of. that deeper way that you and I have experienced, in that sense of questioning, where does this go and how does this serve me? And that true dialogue with spirit. And our connection to source. I mean, that's, it's all the same to me.
All these words.
It's the context and semantics are just,
But I will say, like, I had resistance toward the word God
for
a long time. And now I'm like, no, it is all the same.
Yeah.
Which I'm grateful for.
Whether or not you use source, God,
spirit,
universe, mother, father, God, goddess, divine, it's an energy that has intelligence. And that is something we cannot, how do I want to say it? It's an energy that is us. And we cannot deny that.
Right.
In the sense of when you go into awe and wonder, what is that energy? I mean, that's there. I feel like unless you have completely turned all of your senses off and they're dead inside, I feel that everyone feels that connection.
And it's always there on waiting to be accessed as well.
Absolutely.
I was thinking
what
I just started thinking about Jesus.
Okay.
And the conversation of like, oh, like I am, well, how people place him of like, oh, he's the one who's able to be connected to God. And it's like, no, we're all brothers and sisters.
That's right.
We're all we can all be Jesus.
He was an example that you are that, and I am that. I am presence. And he was a yogi. He was in India. He traveled, and a lot of people don't acknowledge that, or are completely in the dark about it because they never explored these other things. They just had what church they were raised in, and following that. And if they went outside of that scope of belief of this is who he is, and he was a master with the sacred ceremonies of the body of the temple, and he got mad. People think that Jesus, he got mad.
That we can talk about like wrathful compassion as an aspect of that. Like, well,
right.
I'm gonna say what needs to be said with compassion. But it needs to be said because there's boundaries intact.
That's
all
right.
That stuff.
And so it's not. I always say it's not all love and light. As my friend Mary says, but that is love. But that, what I mean, the new age or that oh, love and light, and then they go and stab you in the back. Oh, do I have one of those? No.
My back's hurting. Exactly.
I'm kind of laughing because I just looked in the recording and I'm like, wait, we didn't plan this. Like, we're so coordinated and everything.
It is really cute. And I just got this swimsuit, so it was meant to be.
And I just found mine in the closet.
You had no idea. That's funny. That's cute.
It was meant to be.
So
we've got to have more of these talks.
I would love
no matter where you are in the world, right? Just have these nomadic
chit chats
about whatever. I still am so I just want to talk about just a little bit about the way you and I met. It was very true to who we are, in that sense of recognizing one another and then acting on it and making time, because you had other obligations that you could have done instead of playing pickleball with me. And then the adventure that we were on, I mean, we literally were driving from clear sky to darkness before picking up the food from the farm and the hail, and it was darkness.
But that inside the car was so full of light.
It was. And the hail started hitting. And I said, and I was making jokes because I'm like, okay, pretty soon I'm just going to be screaming at you. And
and you're just like gesturing and like but laughing. Oh yes.
And then the fact that we so quickly got into this trusting intimacy of, well, what sign are you? And what like there was, but I tend to do that anyway. Do you do? Is that me?
Not as much, but I feel like you are more you share like kind of like your line of work and who you are, and it's not work necessarily, but I'm like, oh, I'm a psychic, and I'm and intuitive healer, so like you really put that out there first, and then you see who tunes in, who doesn't, and who's feels safer with me then. And that safety happened very quickly.
It happened really. And I'm typically like that, like in the grocery store or whatever, and I say, oh, what's up, food, and before you know it, there's this connection. And and my former husband used to say, how did you learn so much in that 5 or 10 minutes? And I said, because I was just open,
and you desire to have
connection. Connection. And I also love, especially if I see something beautiful, I love to say that. And then if I see or notice that someone's in pain, then I also like to connect to see if I could just, and some of that is just purely guided, and then where I remember one lady, I said something to her. She was looking like at the shampoo or something. And I said, oh my God, that blouse is gorgeous. She goes, really? And I said, and then she turned around and said, oh my God, you're gorgeous. And she started crying. She goes, I can't tell you how much this means to me. So trusting those times of being who you are.
Because it's love again.
It is love.
And again, people may not receive it, as well, but wow, you are so attractive. I'm really drawn to you. Wow, I'm sensing that there's some pain like that. Those are the scary things. Like, it's not just attractiveness is not only for sex, right?
No,
and pain is not only, all of it's beautiful. And hey, look, you're having a human experience, and you're not alone in this human experience.
It's I can keep on talking because both of us can.
Because we're chit-chatters.
Oh man, this has been such a blessing. I just keep on getting the divine is everywhere, and I write about this in the book. It's like you just have to just be open to seeing however it's showing up. And then, I mean, in some of it, when your heart is tugged at someone's hardship, do you want to participate, or do you just want to witness and send them some grace? Or it's not like you've got to go in there and pound on the door.
No, we can just let the love that is continuously flowing it through us and out of us flow to them.
Exactly. And the energies do go where there's flow. And
where they need to grow.
And so
we gotta go.
Oh
no.
Nothing like a poem.
Oh, love it.
All right. Thank you for checking in, and thank you for showing up in this moment in my life to share in my evolution.
I'm really glad that we connected.
Very joyous. So let's go now.
Let's go swimming.
Just pull right with it.
Gotta go swim.
All right. Be well.